Doug Santaniello says he's almost to Kansas City.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's gonna get here tomorrow. Then.
I think he might. He says he's not going to be here until Saturday, so maybe he's got he's got a thing he's got to do. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's going to see that Poison tribute band. I think they're playing with the Pat band. You know what the Poison tribute band's name is?
Poisons. Cyanide.
No.
Loving tribute. We could use a ride home. We need a ride home. That was actually Ricky Rocket.
Ricky Rocket,
on The Simpsons.
No, Poison Duh, but it's just a D. So I don't know if it's Poison D or Poison Duh. I'm not sure, but anyway,
you have to ask the ladies at the venue.
Hey,
if it's Poison D or not.
Yeah. I don't know that I'm going to make it that night. What night is it? I don't know.
I have some precision spot welding I have to do that night. Go cheese shopping. I have to wash my cat.
Whatever night it is, that's what I got to do. Hey everybody, this is Matt, and we're at Texas Toast Guitars. Thanks for hanging out with us on Thursday night. Chris and I have very similar shirts, but very different shirts at the same time. I was going to wear that one too.
Yours says Dougtown.
Yeah, and yours says Texas Toast. I think that one might need to say guitars somewhere on it.
What? No.
You think just like.
Yeah,
I was thinking.
I like Texas Toast too.
I was thinking like if you know what we're about, and especially if you come to hang out at the shop with us for a week at a class or a workshop, it's kind of like being in a street gang. You know what I mean? I kind of want people to kind of be like, we're not the guitar builders that you take home to mama.
No,
but mama ain't home tonight.
No,
that's what. Yeah.
What kind of guitars do you make those loud guitars?
Yeah. Oh yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, you want to play electric guitar? Yeah, it's not going to be one of those loud electric guitars.
Oh yes, it is.
No, it's going to be one of the quiet electric guitars, Mom. No, I don't want to play like that.
But yeah, so I think that we're a little more kind of against the grain. We don't strive to be like everybody else's, but we do things a little bit differently. That's the way we are.
Yeah,
that's cool. I like it. So yeah, I strive to be counter culture usually as often as I possibly can.
If the guitar community, if the guitar world was a dog and we were petting that dog, we would pet them so they could feel it against the grain, right?
I know. If the guitar community was someone petting a dog, we would be my Rottweiler, Bobby, who bites everybody. Yeah. So
yeah.
Lots of people have said that, that they would like, I love dogs. I think your dog would really like me. And maybe he would. My dog really liked you.
He liked me
until he didn't.
Until he bit me.
Yeah.
We were best friends right up until the minute he bit me.
Yeah.
Which was a nanosecond from when we were really good friends.
I can't explain it. Yeah. So everybody is here, guys. I see a lot of you. Dylan is here, and Steven is here, and Doc is here, and Dan is here. Stephen Folino.
Stephen Folino.
Yeah.
We were telling Stephen Folino stories the other day.
Jokes.
Not really.
Steven Tyler is here. Stephen Piercy is here.
Stephen Piercy.
Steven Seagal. I mean, I don't know what. Yeah. Joy is here. Terry is here. Dan is here. Doug is here. Sean is here. Jeffrey is here. Richard is here. You guys get the idea. You're all here. So thanks for hanging out with us. And if I didn't say your name, it's not because I don't like you. It's because we have other stuff to do. But I will say one more. Spike the Frugal Fixer is here, and he has a question.
Okay.
So Spike's question is, how long is the working area on the Deadhead sander? Gonna build me one. Thanks. You are the influencers, right? Spike, no, we are not influencers. We are merely resurrecting history.
Merely a conduit.
Well,
into which you can build guitars too.
Well, you can't go onto the Grizzly website and buy a Deadhead sander.
No.
I know of.
No. But you can make a Grizzly sander into a Deadhead.
We've seen it happen. 2 guys have done that. But we didn't invent the Deadhead sander.
Nope.
So we're not the influence. Like I say, all we are is people who kind of rediscovered some of this stuff because that's not the way people do things
Yeah.
now.
So how did we come up with the size of the deadhead?
Well, we took one of our necks and said, yeah, that's about right. And
let's make it a little bit smaller than most of the width of where we want this tool to take stuff off.
Yeah. And you can do like a base neck on it. You just got to move it around.
Yeah. I think it was, what's the smallest neck that we're usually going to do? And
like a 24-inch scale.
Let's give ourselves a little bit of back and forth. And that's how we did it. We saw, I think, probably one picture, maybe two pictures.
There are not a lot of great pictures of deadhead sanders from the old factories. Now, there are a few. One of the things about the deadhead sander that I thought was funny is we saw a picture of one at the Fender factory, and it looked like it looked like a good machine, but it didn't look like it was the most. I don't know. It didn't look like it had an 80-horse motor on it, and it looked just like a regular sander it was a deadhead sander. Then we saw some pictures of something that they had at Gibson and Warrior, and the guy who made them was Bruce Bennett. Was that the guy?
Yeah.
And it had an absurd, like a 10-horse motor and a 12-foot 50 or 30 grit belt or something. Now,
I didn't know if it was a RC track or a deadhead sander.
And he was almost laughing at this is what we used at Gibson, and it took off a lot of skin and people screwed up a lot.
It was this giant triangle.
Yeah.
And I think they were doing that to minimize friction.
Well, I think there's that, and then the belt lasts longer the longer the belt is.
Well, that's true.
So if you have a 10-foot belt versus a 100-foot belt, and you run the same amount of necks on it, you know what I mean? Though, the abrasive that gets used over and over again.
Send it around the shop for half an hour. Here it comes.
There's your choo-choo.
Yeah.
But he was almost like kind of this sort of fiendish storytelling of all the new guys at Gibson who would break things and ruin necks and grind off their fingerprints on their deadhead sander. But
have you gotten clipped by ours?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Lots.
It's not that big of a deal. And we started with a 60 grit, and then we went to a 50 grit, and now we're at 36 grit, and it's just the way it goes. So
yeah. It's a finesse tool.
It is a finesse.
It's amazing how you can take off virtually nothing. While taking something else off. Yeah, you can grind off way too much like that, and you can take hardly any off in 10 times that long. So. Yeah, you can just sort of rest it on there and not take any off. It's a pretty neat tool.
So Spike, if you want to make one, I've only made the one. And we kind of forced it to work. So
I think what we did is we figured out how wide we wanted the actual surface for the neck, and then we decided, based on how wide our sander was, what kind of angle, it couldn't be wider than at that point. It's a triangle.
Now, when we made, so I've made a handful of videos about it. And if you go back and if you're one of those guys who goes on YouTube and doesn't look for any information in the description, you just send me an email, I'm probably not going to answer it. But if you go in and look in the description, there's a bunch of information on what we did and where we got some pieces. One of the places, A&H Abrasives, that made the custom length belts is out of business.
Yeah.
So we have I didn't know you were going to ask this, Mike, but I happen to have the invoice here.
And one of the funny things, that was one of the things that kind of predicated us making that machine. Well, let's see if we can find belts. And then if we can find belts, then we'll build this machine. And we went online and figured out, you can buy belts, custom made belts for not very much money.
They were fairly cheap.
And then they went out of business, maybe because they were too cheap.
Well, maybe because our new place that we're getting our custom sized belts for is called Kling Spore, and they're 3 times the money. So but now we're kind of.
But the paper that the Kling Spore rep brought by, might last 3 times as long. It's pretty nice. It's Polish.
All right, cool. No, so it's good.
So it's good. Yeah.
We have a lot of friends.
It's like if Jam Jimmy made
come on,
made sandpaper,
right?
It lasts forever, right?
Sandwich or sandpaper.
Yeah, Klingspor,
I'll from Triple J.
Yeah, whatever.
All right. We have a super chat from Richard. He says, "Hey Matt and Chris, I'm shipping the P-Bass pickup and CTS pots tomorrow to your shop. I'm stoked for when it's all said and done. Cheers." Thanks, man. I got an email from Richard wanting to know confirmation on the PO box number, which is in the description below right now. It's what?
Texas Toast Guitars, PO Box 1366, Westminster, Colorado 80036. Once again, I'm just going to do it.
It's in the description. If you guys are having trouble,
it's 1366 is the PO box.
Yeah. There was nothing in the PO box today.
Oh, did you go by?
No, I didn't. I didn't go by. I didn't go. So it might be loaded up. But I was kind of I can imagine when you looked over at what I was doing today, you had to have been like, "What in the fuck is Matt doing? He's just sitting around." I was editing videos and I was doing a bunch of stuff, and so
I was literally waiting for paint to dry.
Yep. Yeah, that's true. So tell everybody what you've been up to today.
So I painted yesterday and today I painted 4 Challengers. Yesterday I did, and you might have seen it on Instagram or the Meta Facebook.
Oh, okay.
That's the new name. I'm trying to, get.
It's not called the Facebook anymore?
Well, very soon it will not be called Facebook.
Really?
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay.
So yesterday I masked off and shot all the colors on 4 Challengers. We want them all to be the same, so I had to kind of do them all at the same time, right? And then today I shot clear on all of them, and
they looked like $1 million yesterday.
Yeah, and they look even better.
Let me tell you, yeah.
Might be $2.5 million.
Sure.
And I don't like to. Our spray booth just doesn't clear itself out fast enough for me to spray 4 rounds of clear. Boom, 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 boom.
Because you got to do it. How many? Yeah.
Well, it's a lot of clear. Yeah. So I had to break it up. So I did 2 guitars, and then I did 2 more later. And so it was all afternoon. I sprayed clear, and then each coat you got to wait a little while longer between coats. And so I did that. I did some CNC.
Brad Hutchings has a good one.
Okay.
He says that we should name our Sanders after famous Sanders. Colonel Harlan, I guess, would be one. The same guy. Barry.
Fred G.
That's Fred G. Sander.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's the same guy, but that's funny. So there's lots. So guys, if you have a question about the guitar building world that you would like for Chris and I to answer, please put a bunch of question marks, because every now and then I'll just look and there'll be something amusing, and then I'll have to scroll looking for the question marks. So if you have a question, please put the bunch of question marks, because it's just Chris and I today working the computer. So
and really it's Matt, because I can't see. I can see colors.
Can you?
I think that one might say hello.
Yeah,
but
it does. Lefty O says hello. William says, "What's the difference between candy and pearl finish?" That's a great question.
That is a good question. So candy is a translucent, let's just say solid color. It's see-through red, see-through blue. There's no metallic. Yeah. There's no pearl. Let's just talk about metallics and pearls while we're at it. Metallic is a little bit of it's usually made up of a polyester, silver, or whatever other color, like finely cut graded material. Mm-hmm. That's a metallic. Pearl,
if you get bigger, then it's called flake.
Or glitter. Yeah, glitter if you're into hobbies. Mm-hmm. Yeah, metal flake if you're a man. And then pearl is pearlescent. It's not flip-flop, but it's just pearlescent. It's pearlescent flakes.
Now, a lot of people don't know that I know anything about paint, but it used to be that pearl had bits of crushed up pearl mixed into the paint many years ago.
Mother of
and that's why it's called pearl. Now it's plastic that has a sheen to it. But
Yep.
I learned that from the Discovery Channel.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I hope we answered your question, William.
And
yeah.
Candy apple red is candy apple red. Candy apple blue, I've never seen a blue apple.
Okay.
There is no candy apple blue.
Is there candy apple green?
Blue. Yeah, there can be candy apple green.
Okay. So but you always see what you mean though.
Yeah,
candy apple red is just candy red.
Yeah, it's not candy apple red.
Yeah.
It's candy apple red.
Now could you have a candy finish? Because the candy finish could be
any color you want.
You could have like a fudgy clear fudge.
Candy
fudge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, candy root beer over a gold metallic base.
I think that looks badass. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Doc wants to know. I lost Doc. No, I didn't. Here we go. What is the lowest temperature you would consider for spraying lacquer / paint? Well, Doc, that's going to depend. Okay. If you were going to, Chris, if you were going to spray outside, that's a very different temperature maximum and minimum for spraying paint than if you had conditioned supply air. So, Doc, this lacks perspective, but let's answer it two ways.
Okay.
So let's say your supply air is coming from the outside. What's the coldest and what's the warmest you would shoot if your supply air is coming from the outside?
From the outside, I always go with like dew point, and that varies from place to place as well. But here it's like 52, 55, something like that is about as cold as I want to spray if I'm pulling in air from outside. Bringing in
55-degree air, it gets pretty chilly pretty fast.
Back in the old days, I was actually telling you this story the other day. I sprayed a bicycle outside, and it was cold. It was probably 48, 50, something like that. And it went on, and I moved the bike into the garage, which was slightly warmer, and the whole thing checked.
Yeah.
Like as it was drying, it checked. It was weird.
Now, what about how hot would you go to spray? Because he asked about lacquer. Because lacquer can dry so quickly when it's hot.
So fast that it almost goes on dry. I don't know. When you start getting into the 90s, things start getting dicey, I think.
Yeah.
I like that 65 to 85 window.
So that's a great transition to
or even 60 to 80.
If you had your druthers, your supply air should be about 65 or 80 if you're not using outside air as your supply air. I hope that makes sense too, that what I'm talking about when I say supply air.
Yeah.
Because as you evacuate paint fumes, you need to bring in new air from someplace. Yeah. That's what I call supply air. Mostly I call it that because that's what it is.
And we can even with our paint booth, we can change the whole shop, this whole giant shop that we have fairly quickly.
Yeah.
Just by moving stuff up and out the roof.
Yeah.
So,
but we are fortunate to have our supply air be conditioned. So it can be 10 degrees outside and we'll be spraying paint. And it can be 110 degrees outside and we'll be spraying paint.
Yeah, because it doesn't really vary in the booth more than 10 degrees.
So I hope that answers your question.
Yep. Well, it answers mine.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. So many things here. Jesse says Gibson or Fender style nut preference.
I don't know. They're both okay. I'm not a fan of the fitted Gibson style nut where you have the like a cap on the headstock and it's almost like a Fender nut where you have to fit it.
Yeah, where it's fit.
I like them just butted up against it, like we do.
I think that's probably my favorite.
Fender nuts are okay too.
So I'm not a big fan of the Fender nut. You know what my favorite nut is the one that we do on the Challenger, it's like a Gibson. It's got a little shelf.
Mm-hmm. That's flat on,
and everything sits flat,
fairly wide on the bottom.
And we actually put an angle in the nut to make it narrower at the.
It's real nice.
So it goes from like a 3/16 to an 1/8 over the course of the height of the nut. So over like 5/16 or whatever it is.
Yeah,
and it's just a cool.
You get a nice flat spot for glue in that, but there's no reason to have a big thick nut for strings to run through. Meat. Yeah, nobody wants nut meat. And so,
and it's a cool little. I shouldn't have said anything because now people are going to go, oh, I want to do that on mine too.
It's easy.
Yeah, but a lot of our intellectual property needs to be something that we need to play our cards closer to our vest. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to me.
Yeah, you're the one that gave it away.
I know I'm the one that gives all that stuff away. Yeah, I need.
You should see our nuts. Look at my nuts. Oh, our nuts are the best.
Yeah. Okay, let's see what else we got here.
Sometimes I'll have two nuts, and one of them will be slightly different than the other.
Well, sometimes you feel like a nut.
Yeah.
All right. Devin wants to know: can a student bring a belt sander to race? Hell yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, you're not going to win against Mighty Little, but you could try. Doesn't it say on Mighty Little?
I didn't think it said Mighty Little.
I think it does say.
You have a file named Mighty Little and a belt sander,
and a belt sander specifically tuned for drag racing.
Specifically tuned.
Named Mighty Little, and on the back it says "Eat shit." Yeah, because that's what. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. It all comes down to surface prep.
It absolutely does,
or lack of.
Yep.
Yeah, you got to know your lane.
Yes, you do. and we don't do like belt sander drag racing rules where there's fences. Usually, there's no cross in the center.
No, you got to make sure your belt sander.
You got it has to track.
Yeah.
So I was looking through something today. It was like either Facebook or Instagram or there's Facebook's going to be called something different.
It's supposed to be called Meta at some point.
The hell is it? Well, whatever.
Yeah. Well,
okay.
Apparently, Facebook is just the most evil thing ever.
Are they?
That's what I've been reading.
So, I was looking at the most evil thing ever today, Facebook, ostensibly, and there was something about Gibson had a thing, the new G3.
Okay.
Have you seen this?
No, I saw the title of this, and I thought, I don't know anything about it, and I'm not going to look it up. So inform me.
G3, I think, is short for Generation 3 or third generation, and it's a lot of young people who are playing Gibson guitars, and I think they might be virtuosos or something, but they all appear to be teenage and younger.
Okay,
you know what I mean, like School of Rock kind of stuff.
All right,
and I got to thinking about it, and I'm like, why? It's like, are these the new people that are the is this the new face?
Is this the target
of Gibson? Is this the target audience? And are these the new endorse players? And I thought, well, and I didn't want to look it up. I really just thought if the more I think about it, the funnier. It's funnier if I don't know the real answer.
Yes. So
I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, actually, that makes the most sense for Gibson to kind of cultivate a new generation, because the old people like you and I, and even older, and even a little younger, we already have Gibsons if we're going to have them. We're already fans of Gibson if we're going to be fans.
Yeah.
More to the point, we're probably already moving away from Gibson. And so have you ever been to a place where like a young person comes up and asks you like a question that is really not germane to the what you're doing? So one time we played a show and there were some kids that were there, and they came up and asked me what year my bass was. And I'm like, well, you're 10. What do you care what year my bass is? And I think what is happening is young people are starting to, they're some of the more, I have an itch on my head. Young people are those people that are going to, if anyone's going to covet someone's guitar, it's going to be a young person. And so the whole notion of, oh man, I got to have it just like the vintage one. Well, why? I don't know, but I do. It's sort of like, well, why do I have to have those shoes? Well, just because if I do, I'll be more accepted in my peer group or whatever. Okay. But I think like the older you get, the less important some of that stuff is, or the more important like the brand name becomes. So like I hate knockoffs. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like I don't consider Epiphone to be a knockoff unless it's a knockoff of a Gibson. If it's an Epiphone, then fine. But if it's an Epiphone Les Paul, then it's a knockoff, and I don't want to own it. Okay. It's the fake purse of guitars. Okay. And I think that kids are like that too. They want the real thing, and I think that some adults are like that too. But when you get old enough, I think you get past a lot of that, and you're like, no, I want a different guitar. I don't care what it says on the headstock. I just want to play awesome and sound awesome and be awesome. And quite frankly, if you're hanging out with a bunch of other people that are in their 50s, well, let's face it, a 2021 Gibson, it's like, okay, well, cool. And then that's it. Yeah. So there's got to be something else. So I think if Gibson attracts the young people, that's the people who are going to eventually spend. What say you?
Okay. So I have several thoughts on this. So presumably they have videos of these young people playing Gibsons,
or at least pictures,
and loving Gibsons. Fender's doing something very similar to this. Yeah. And here's so-and-so, influencer, YouTube guy, young person, sometimes very attractive, most of the time very attractive.
Yeah, it's not unheard of for there to be
boys and girls. Yeah. And you get people that are interested in those people, not even necessarily not the brand, the person or what they're doing to play the guitar, and then pretty soon they're interested in the brand of guitar. Which is, I think, so they're trying to, and the people our age nitpick the holy living shit out of those guitars, and I think for a lot of young people, just the fact that you have that guitar,
ooh, cool,
Gibson. It's a Gibson. I got a Gibson. That's neat. And so it's a smart move.
I remember like when I was coming up, and like everybody wanted a Gibson, and when one of us got one, it was like, ooh, cool.
Yeah. And I didn't even really know what the good ones were, other than
it said Gibson on it.
Yeah.
You were sort of like Jeremiah Johnson, and you wanted that 50 caliber Hawken, but they didn't have one. They had a 30 cal, and it said Hawken on it.
Yeah,
that's good enough.
That's only 20 less.
You've never seen that movie?
No,
I was forced to watch Jeremiah Johnson.
Yeah,
once, but
okay. Yeah,
Robert Redford.
Yeah. I think it's not a bad idea. At first I'm like, well, what kid can afford a Gibson at this point? But a lot of them can.
I think a lot of them can. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of them. It's not a bad way to go. Instead of having a bunch of old farts. Yeah, here's some old fart you never heard of playing a guitar.
Yeah,
well, I don't like that at all.
Yeah, and frankly, I really think that a lot of the old farts that are, Chris's age, Chris and I.
I'm almost a whole year older than you right this.
But no, I mean but we're old guys compared to the third generation of Gibson.
I want to know about the second generation.
That's probably us, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, we're like passé now, but the idea though of guys who are our age, we've already had the cool guitars that, or we're gonna rebuy them again, but you're not gonna go out and buy a brand new from Guitar Center Gibson.
No, and I think that's what they're chasing is the new buyer.
Yep.
And how are you going to get this guitar quick and easy?
Yeah, I think anyone in their 50s is going to be less likely to buy a new Gibson. They're going to want. I had one when I was when I was 25 and it was a whatever year and I want that one again. I've done that with lots of stuff. Phil McKnight had a thing where he talked about should you buy the guitar that you let get away or something like that. And I also think too that there's people who we see it because people who come here and contact us, they want something that nobody else can get. So they want what we're doing because they're into what we're up to. They're that honey 1%er that wants, something cool that you can't go to Guitar Center and buy. You can't just go get it off the shelf. Yeah. So I think that's what Gibson's like. Well, let's target a younger audience. So it's
a good idea, but don't worry, we'll still make guitars for old farts.
That's what we do. Yeah. So ER Webster has sent us a super chat. Thank you for that, by the way. And you know what he said to me today? He's like, I was wondering what happened to the old man machine. I thought you might have gotten rid of it. I'm like,
we just haven't displayed it.
Son, you don't get rid of something as glorious.
As sweet as that.
Right? Yeah. So he says he cut some red cedar today for the first time. Lovely smell. I couldn't disagree more.
Yeah.
That stuff that offends my nose.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He says, what's the best smelling wood and the worst smelling wood?
Well, I think roasted maple is among the best.
Some people have chimed in that it smells like pancakes.
Like pancakes. Yeah. It smells like
really
good. Yeah.
I think you're right. It's better than anything.
Yeah. Worst smelling wood?
I'm gonna go with like Paduke or
Paduke's pretty
that.
gross. Sometimes ash isn't all that great. It's not awful, but it sort of smells like pee.
Yeah. Zebra wood sometimes smells like pee.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of woods that are not red hot.
Smell like pee.
Here smell like ointment and pee.
Vitamins and pee.
I think but usually though, something really oily is fairly offensive to me.
Rosewood doesn't offend me, but I can instantly tell.
Some rosewoods are better than others.
Well, too. But it's funny because you're like, because sometimes you like if you're like if I'm cutting a bunch of fretboards, there's a bunch of different wood in there, and all of a sudden you get to the rosewood, you're like, oh, this one's rosewood. Yeah, I can smell it. You can smell it.
You know what's funny? We've been working with a bunch of basswood for a project, and basswood, it doesn't have a smell as much as it just gets in amongst your teeth and your nose, and it's just this like fluff that gets everywhere.
You said it smells like a library.
Oh, it does smell like a library.
It smells like old books. Which maybe I don't know what they make paper out of.
Sure, why wouldn't they use basswood?
Yeah. So
okay. Okay. A lot of people are saying how young we are. Thank you very much. Someone told me that I looked so much younger with no beard.
And then I saw one of your uncles said that you were starting to really look like an old man.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really nice of him.
Thanks.
Yeah. I think, as much as beards are fun, you look, especially when you start getting gray and a little jowly.
Yeah, you go from
you
go from 21st century man to Civil War general like that.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
All you need is a string tie.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
So anyway, so let's touch more on the Gibson thing.
Okay.
I think that's a funny one because Gibson and Fender and a bunch of companies that have been around for a long time. Some of their biggest competition isn't the other brands.
No.
It's their guitars they already made that are on the used market.
And they just flood the market with stuff. And then go, wait, we got new stuff. It's way better. And some people go, yeah, it is. And other people go,
this 1959 replica is even more 1959 than last year's 1959.
Yeah.
Remember they did that for a while. They were like, oh yeah, this one has hide glue and nitrocellulose and they probably said nitro. And it's got the deep set 10 on it. It's got all the, okay.
And so that's Gibson, and Fender made a bunch of kind of student stuff. They brought back,
they did.
They made they changed up the Mustang to be a duosonic.
Okay.
And they made Duosonics that were Music Masters. And
are they shooting for a younger audience?
Yeah.
Now too?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And they have lots of like players lounges and online things, and yeah, just all sorts of stuff with young people playing their product, the newest, latest, greatest. And some of it's not all that expensive. That's the funny thing about the Gibson thing is I don't know what kind of price range Gibson has right now, and I'm not going to go look because that would require effort.
Yeah.
But you know, it is for all the old guys that went, these new Mustangs are stupid. Yeah, it's not a Mustang, it's a Duosonic. Why is it orange? A bunch of young kids went, well, I like those new Mustangs with the P90s and the orange. Yeah, those are cool. So I think they're doing pretty well with that stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, more power to them, right? I mean, if they've come up with something that people like.
Yeah, not everybody wants a replica of a 59.
Yeah,
Strat or whatever. So
yeah, totally. Yeah. Totally.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because a lot of that, I've talked about this before, but in a lot of ways, I think all of that old stuff is just eventually going to fade away, you know? And the idea that, well, 59 Les Paul, that's the good stuff. At some point in the future, nobody's going to care.
I don't know. I don't know what point that's going to be, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Maybe not in our lifetime.
Stephen has a question, and it's a great
Stephen
question.
Polino?
No, Stephen Soba.
Okay.
It's an excellent question. He wants to know, is there an order list menu for the Challenger Standard Edition and options to choose from? Well, no, there is not right now. However, the new website is very, very close. As a matter of fact, it's way closer than I thought it was going to be, thanks to the efforts of Joy, who is working on that for us. I don't know if there's going to be like a drop down menu, but the only thing you're really going to be able to choose on the standard model is probably like burst color, you know, or if you wanted, we've talked about doing like a black top or a Pelham blue top or you know, and then the rest has the same.
Yeah. I think that would be something cool. And
there's
I'm
a couple
totally
that are
open.
getting done with P90s right now, but those aren't standards.
Yeah. You know? And really, I think the standard guitar is the standard guitar, and everything else is custom. And we're certainly willing to do custom Challengers within reason.
But I don't want to do a Challenger with 3 Strat pickups.
No, that's what I mean. But custom colors. You know, some other things here and there. Yeah.
Somebody asked me when I said this is the new Challenger standard model, they're like, does that mean there's going to be a custom? And I think what they meant was like, like a Les Paul custom. And I'm like, well, no, but there is room for a junior.
Okay.
Right.
So
So Stephen, keep watching for that. And like I said, the website is like really moving fast, and lots of new pictures. That's one of the reasons that Chris is painting so many Challengers right now as well. We've got a bunch of them that are ready for paint, and we need to have imagery on the new website. So I can tell you about it, but it's something very different indeed to see it. So coming soon. Jeff Parker writes with a question mark that starts with the word actually.
Okay.
Actually, I just bought a new Les Paul. I am 50. I've had about 8 over the years. This is the best one I've ever had. Finally doing satin neck, lighter, sounds great. Well, I don't really know that's a question, Jeff, but that's great, man. Cool. I don't. Yeah. Why not? I think Gibson Les Pauls are neat. I don't own anymore. But I still think they're cool. So yeah. So righteous, man. Happy Meal. Okay.
Yep.
Moving right along.
I think there's a bit of a changing of the guard, and people our age. It wasn't that long ago when the world sort of did revolve around us, and you still think that, you know, you're hip and you're down. And
the fact is, it's been 20 or 30 years since you've been hip and down.
And so, things sort of move forward, and you can't.
Yeah. You know who's always hip and down? Ike from Flipside Music, the great American guitar store. Guys, if you want to be hip and down too,
I was going to say Bootsy Collins.
Please check out Ike and the guys at Flipside Music. Quiet you. In Denver, Colorado, they are the destination for all things cool and all things guitar related. And they are the pedal kings of the Western United States. And I'll be there this Saturday. Not that I don't have a satin jacket or anything, but I will be there with this is even probably more cool.
You do sort of have a satin jacket.
I do have a members only jacket. But I will be there with Jim Jam Jimmy, and I think Hot Rod is going to be there with us. Are you going to go? The jury's still
talk.
out.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
not sure what time you guys are going.
I don't know either.
I have an event.
I know you have a gala.
It's not a gala, it's an event.
Do you have to wear a tuxedo?
It's a swap meet.
Oh, so it's not a gala.
No, it's not a gala.
And so anyway, Flipside Music supports us, and I want you to support them too. Link in the description below. They're open 7 days a week. If you're in the Denver area, please stop by and check out the guys at Flipside and tell them we sent you over there. If you're not in the Denver area, though, the website's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and every single thing on the website is available in the store. Everything in the store is available on the website. You get what I mean. Since we're doing this, another guy who's always hip and cool is Dylan McCurchie and his lovely wife, Leslie. Link in the description below for pickups from Dylan Talks Tone, Dylan Pickups, Dylan Bobilin, Banana Fana Fulfill. I don't know what his website's name, but you get 10% off if you click the link that we did and order pickups from there. And I'm not going to lie to you. We get a little bit of kickback from that. Yeah. I mean, a full disclosure. Yeah. But we love Dylan and we love Dylan's pickups. So yeah, he'll be out here in May. By the way, every single May Build a Guitar workshop is full.
Yeah.
There are still some spots open for pickup winding. So if you want to get in on that, absolutely do so. It's going to be fun.
That is going to be fun.
Yeah. And you know who else is probably going to be here? Steve from Maximum Guitar Works. Steve, you know where this is going. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, because I just like the segues. Yeah.
Steve from Maximum Guitar Works.
Yeah.
Steve came in on Sunday. I hope that you guys were watching some of that. God, what a fun guy. You don't know when you first meet Steve that he's as much fun and he's as hilarious as he is because he's so dry. But he's a cool dude and he's funny and a total mad scientist. So Steve brought us in some cool stuff, and I look forward to making videos of that and sharing what Steve's up to. But guys, if you are looking for guitar building templates or guitar building tools, specialty stuff, Steve probably is already making it, and it's game-changing equipment. I have it and I love it. So we're going to be using all of Steve's templates from now on for like the fabric top classes, build a classic telly, build a classic Strat. We're going to use all Steve's stuff because it just makes sense. So and John and Cheryl from Bitterroot Guitars, this is probably some of the nicest people you're ever going to meet in the guitar industry. I need to work on videos for them because I told them I would do some truss rod installation videos, and I finally have everything ready to go. But you were painting today, and I didn't want to do anything really. So yeah,
it was just a good excuse.
Yeah, it was a good excuse.
I don't want to make dust.
I don't want to make any dust. So yeah, but John and Cheryl at Bitterroot Guitars, if you use code TXTOAST at checkout, you save 15% off anything you get from Bitterroot. So that's a cool thing. And if you have any problems with anything, have we ever had any issues with anything we've ever? Yeah, and we've been ordering from Bitterroot for years.
And other people have had a misshipment or something like that.
But like we've never had a truss rod break or anything like that.
No.
And speaking of cool guys who you never have a problem with, Dan and Calvin at Tone Wood Experts, formerly Guitar Wood Experts. I need to call them. We need some stuff. I need to call them. I've been needing to call them for weeks, and I thought about it today, and I just spaced it out.
What were you doing? You could have called them.
I could have called them.
Yep.
Dan and Calvin at Guitar Wood Experts. tone wood experts. Sorry, it's hard to do because they've been guitar wood experts for so long. But tone wood experts, those guys are super cool. And I don't know if our discount code still works, but try it anyway. Texas Toast 15 and see what you get. If not, give Dan a call and he'll be happy to set you up with whatever it is that you need.
Yep.
Shipping is always really reasonable too.
Yep.
So anyway, so guys, those are our sponsors for the live stream. Oh, those are 5 of the sponsors for our live stream. There's hundreds more sponsors of our live stream. You know who they are?
The Patreon.
The Patreon members. Because it's a big chunk of change, the Patreon money. It's a significant amount of money. And the Patreon people really step up and help us out. Thank you so much to all of our Patreon members. And it's like PBS only with more Coors beer.
And no tote bags.
No tote bags.
Yep.
So yeah. All right. So
questions.
Let's get back to some questions here. Do you want to? Steve Foligno asks. Oh no! Wait a minute. Sorry, Steve Foligno. We're going to get back to yours. There's a few more that we missed here. One's from Jam Jimmy. Leslie wants to know if you're going to keep doing the double cutaway Challenger. I don't think so. What do you think?
There's a lot of like concessions with that guitar as far as the way that it's currently designed. And I don't know, it's all right. People don't seem to love it. So
yeah, we still have one. So there's and there's lots of guitars that we have multiples of that Chris and I love, or I love. There's one of those double cutaway Challengers sitting around that no one seems to want. So it's like, why make more?
Yeah.
And it could be, well, maybe we could make one fancier. We could make one.
Yeah, we can do that. We could. And maybe someday we'll revisit that whole idea.
Yeah. But right now, the focus is on the flagship model of the Challenger. And that's someone has a question about that. Robert Tucker wants to know if the Challenger is your Les Paul. Are there anything in the works for a standard bolt-on style guitar to standardize? Well, first of all, Robert, the Challenger isn't our Les Paul. It is our single cutaway set neck guitar with 2 humbuckers. But I mean, and I guess we've borrowed the naming conventions from Gibson, so I can see. Okay, you're right. It's probably our Les Paul, but if you were to ask me, it's more our Hamer Monaco. But that's just me. We've been making our version of the Telecaster for years now, and it's called the Daily Driver. But yeah, I think that we're kind of phasing a lot of that stuff out in favor of building Challengers. I think that Chris and I finally came to the realization that if we want to make lots of Challengers, let's make lots of Challengers. And I fight my own rationale on that all the time. I've got a couple weird tellies that I'm doing right now that have set necks and 3 on the side headstocks, and they should have just been Challengers, but they weren't. So you're gonna see a lot more Challengers. If you don't like the Challenger and you're looking for a bolt-on neck guitar, there's lots of guys who will make that for you very happily. But yeah, for the most part, we don't offer a bolt-on neck guitar. What we do offer, I'm gonna answer your question with a no and an and. No, we don't have any plans for a bolt-on neck guitar, and we do have plans for, and will continue to do, build your own guitar workshops. Now, we've been doing that for years, and in fact, we do one a month. So if you wanted a Telecaster or a Stratocaster or a classic bolt-on style guitar, well, you could just come to one of those classes and you could make your own super cool one. We supply you with all the lumber and 5 days worth of instruction to basically make something that's so neat that it will alter your interaction with guitar players everywhere, because you won't have anything in common with guys who buy stuff off the shelf. So, yeah.
That's cute. I used to buy guitars
Yeah.
at Guitar Center too.
Yeah. You know, I used to be 13 and be a G3 Gibson guy. I actually feel I'm glad that those kids are playing guitar. Okay. Sorry, Stephen Folino, and we're back to you now. Hey, Chris, I'm making another GTR like the one. Is he talking about the car, or is that short for guitar?
Guitar. I believe.
So it's funny, like Stephen Folino has this like whole big thing and chooses to.
But he abbreviates one word.
Abbreviates one word, but he saved a lot of time.
One word.
Yeah. Sorry, Stephen. Chris, I'm making another guitar like the one I made in July with you guys. I modified the body a little and the pick plate. I drew the pick plate on Melina or that folder, however you.
Melamine.
To lay it out. He wants to know what we use. What Manila. Isn't that Manila? That's it. Okay, the Thrilla from Manila.
For design, what do we draw stuff?
Now
with?
Stevens is a teacher, so he has access to a lot of that stuff. But we use MDF.
Well, if we're just drawing stuff out, then we'll usually just use like a big Chief tablet.
That's true.
Or our 3M big sheet, and then
like this though, this pick guard.
And then you'll trace that onto
and then you'll sand
1/4 inch
sand to the line.
Yep. So, and then go from there. Yeah.
This is our Challenger Junior pick guard. Yeah. Okay.
Challenger Junior.
That could be a thing, right? All right. Hey, BK names. Sent us $5 for beer. Hey, Thank you, BK. You're the man. Bruce Williamson wants to know, does Steve make a fret slot template? Well, Bruce, since I'm not an employee of the Maximum Guitar Works, you're not really asking the right guy. And there's a link in the description below to send an email to Steve. Now, happen to know that he does, but it's more than just that.
Exactly. So it's not just. It's
not just
a whole bunch of other stuff.
It does multiple things.
Yeah, it goes with all his other things.
Yeah. Now, so get it and love it, but remember, guys. Somebody asked me the other day, like, "Hey, what about this kind of Tamco paint?" Or it was some paint question. I'm like, "Well, I don't know because I don't work for Tamco. I'm merely an end user like you guys. I'll tell you what I know about." What we have, but don't ask me a bunch of technical questions about paint because I'm not going to be able to give you the right answer. Chris isn't going to be able to give you the right answer.
No, I've actually, they have a hotline and you can hit them up almost any time during normal business hours with an issue.
Yeah.
And it was maybe twice that I hit them up and they got right back to me.
Yeah.
With the right answer. I didn't like the answer, but it was the right answer. Yeah. And
I mean, I'll try to help you out as much as I can, but if you have a question for Steve, the best thing to do is contact Steve.
Yeah, he's
very
approachable.
Good about it.
He'll get back to you, and the same with the people at Tamco.
But yes, he does have a fret sliding template. Hey, do you know, does Levi's make pants in my size? I don't know. What size are they?
I believe they do,
I'm
man.
sure they do. Okay.
You look like a fairly normal pant size.
I'm a pretty regular guy.
I like the crotch to be extra big, though. Do they make any that way?
Yeah. If you have a technical question about
just I like,
Yeah. All right.
It'll be like hanging almost down to my knees.
Tim says the double cut Challenger isn't showing on the web. It's because it's not called the double cut Challenger, Tim. It's called the Honey Badger. And Hench Music 58 says no prostitutes. I'm pretty sure he's not talking about independent business people. He's talking about our guitar called the Prostitute. And no, I can see 1, 2, 3, or 4 prostitutes floating around that are guitars. We'll still make those, but like I said, the focus for Texas Toast Guitars is not going to be on somebody else's model. So it's not going to be on Telecasters or SGs or Les Pauls.
The other thing everybody's got to remember, it's Matt and Chris. That's it. We don't have a workforce. We have us. And we can only do so much. And right now we're going to focus on challengers. we've done the other thing where we've made a bunch of stuff and a bunch of one-off and a bunch of this and a bunch of that. Right now we want to make challengers and see what we can do with that.
So like tomorrow's reveal, by the way, guys, will be a live reveal, and there'll be 2 guitars that are somebody else's design.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're going to see less and less of that as the reveals move forward.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And you'll see more and more challengers. And I think that that's a great thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't think that's a great thing, well, Gibson will still make you an SG, and you can call it a prostitute if you want. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, and we'll make more of that stuff. But right now it's challengers. Yeah. That's what we're gonna make. Yeah. We're gonna This is the first time we've had 4 challengers in the hopper before. We've never painted all 4 of them exactly the same.
Yep.
I don't even know that we've ever had 4 challengers that were exactly the same.
No.
We've made virtually every way.
We've made runs of challengers.
Well, this one's got black binding, or this one's got white binding, and this one's got a multi-laminate neck, and this one's And let's paint this one red, and let's do this. Nope, these are all standard challengers.
Yep, and they're all the same finish.
They're all the same finish, and it's something new that we're gonna try.
Steven Soba asks, daylight savings time changes this weekend. FYI.
Mm-hmm.
FYI.
Yeah, so Sunday we are going to be on
time travel.
We're going to be on at 5.
We're going to be time traveling.
Mm-hmm. Did you know you have to set your clock back at 2 a.m.?
Yeah.
Otherwise it doesn't stick.
I know. And what I want to know is, what are you going to do on Sunday at 2 a.m. and then undo at Sunday at 2 a.m?
I think I'm going to sleep.
It's your one chance a year to time travel. And you can,
but you have to be up at 2, right?
You can pretty much get away with anything, because then you go back and undo it.
Okay.
That's how it works, you guys.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you ever, you wanted to thought about doing something and you didn't, you wanted to do it risk free. I don't know. You wanted to smoke a little of that wacky tobacco or
time,
whatever it was you wanted to do. Yeah. That's the time to do it. Yeah. A little bit of a time travel.
I'll go ride my bike for an hour and then claim my road for 2 hours.
No, you'd ride your bike for an hour and then it wouldn't be like you did anything.
No.
Yeah. Because you go back in time.
Yeah, you're right.
So you'd have to ride your bike for
4 hours.
If when you do the opposite of when you go forward in time, you could ride your bike for 1 hour at the same time, and then
I rode my bike from
2.
1 to 3. Really?
Yeah. But this weekend you go back in time, and so you can get away with anything.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. Okay.
I'm definitely not going to pee on things.
Well, that's up to you, my friend.
For an hour.
We've got time for one more question, and this one comes from Mark, and he wants to know, what would you guys recommend for a maximum nut width to gain some string space at the end? I'm thinking 1.75 can always narrow as I shape the neck. Big hands and fingers.
Can you narrow as you shape the neck?
Yes and no. I think that 1 3/4 is a great neck width if you like big guitars. But remember, if you're used to, you're still going to have to get used to it. I would go the other way. I would go 1 11/16 and make the back of the neck fatter.
That's what I would do.
But that's just me, because altering the taper of the neck, the entire length of the neck, you can't just make it go, well, I want it to be 1 3/4 at the nut. I don't like that. And I want to take a 32nd off each side. It doesn't sound like much, but it's the whole taper of the neck.
Yeah.
And just make the neck fatter. And I think you'll be happier.
Fill your hand with wood.
That's
And instead of width.
Yeah, because let me ask you this.
Yeah, because if it's like let's just wizard neck. If it's really, really thin, but it's really, really
2
wide,
inches wide,
it's still gonna feel
little.
really, really small.
Yeah.
So and it's I don't know that it's necessarily string spacing that you're looking for. I think it's more just.
Jim says we should do the Sunday live stream from the smoker in his backyard. I don't know.
Sunday, yeah.
I don't know. Well, guys, I know that it's getting about time for us to wrap it up, and I want you to go check out Dylan Talks Tone. He does a live stream like he's probably starting here any minute now.
Mm-hmm.
If you go there now, you'll be able to watch the funky numbers countdown and stuff or whatever he's got set up. But thanks for watching, you guys. This was a fun one. Thanks for all your questions. Thanks to all of our sponsors, all of our Patreon members. Thanks to Chris for all the wonderful stuff that he does. And thanks to me for being so wonderful.
Yes, thank you, Matt. Thank you for.
I truly do love myself because I am so magnificent.
You're so glad that everybody got to spend time with you.
I'm glad you all got to spend time with me, and you got to watch. No, that's true, but yeah,
it is.
So, guys, we will see you tomorrow for a live reveal. Who knows what's going to happen? There's going to be a boatload of people here, probably. It should be fun. There's 2 guitars for the live stream tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll see you guys then. Until next time, this is Matt at Texas Toast reminding you that if you're so smart, start your own YouTube channel. That's what I did. We'll see you all next time.